This is Saints 4 Takeaways, sponsored by American Men Roofing.
There are no hidden positives in the Monday night loss to Baltimore. There's no silver lining in this game. The Ravens beat the Saints. They beat them soundly on both sides of the ball. And what was amazing was that after 3 quarters, the score was just 17-6. To me, it felt like it was 35-3. And the first reason for that, at number 4, the Saints could not run the ball. What we've learned is when the Saints can't run the ball, Andy Dalton and the passing attack are just not good enough to carry this team. They only ran it 15 times in this game for 48 yards. The frustrated fan base is losing patience with first-year coach Dennis Allen because this loss didn't feel like the others. Against the Bucs, the Panthers, and the Cardinals, the Saints felt like the better team. They were minus 10 in turnovers in these 3 games. All those losses, but they did a lot of good things in those losses. And against the Bengals and Vikings, those are 2 playoff teams. The Saints were in the games. Joe Burrow and Kirk Cousins just made fourth-quarter plays to beat them. Those were 2 close games that could have gone either way. This game was the first in which the Saints just got beaten badly in all 3 phases. And I know people don't want to hear this, but at number 1, the path still exists. And yes, I am talking about playoffs.
Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs. You kidding me?
No, 2001 Jim Mora. I'm actually not kidding. And look, as long as the playoffs are a possibility, I'm going to keep talking about it. And the train wreck known as the NFC South is winnable. I think 9-8 wins this division, maybe even 8-9. These are the Saints' last 8 opponents. To get to 9 wins, the Saints will have to win 6 of those 8. Now, I do think these 2 at the top, San Francisco and Philadelphia, both on the road, are extremely difficult. So you have to win all 6 of these to get to 9 wins. And all 6 of those teams have losing records. I think the season is absolutely on the line Sunday in Pittsburgh. Lose, and it's over. Win, and there is still life, despite getting hammered Monday night against the Ravens. It was a much better night tonight for the Pelicans. They ended that tough 11-game stretch to open the season in Chicago. It was close in the fourth quarter, back and forth, but Brandon Ingram just took this game over. Ingram had 16 points in just the fourth quarter. He outdueled Chicago's DeMar DeRozan. The Pelicans go to 6-5, and now they get their next 6 games at home. Ingram had 22 overall. Pelicans beat the Bulls 115-111. We're back with more in a minute. 2 things immediately stand out about the Saints' loss in Carolina. The Saints gained a lot of yards, but for the most part, the offense was a mess, and the Saints were minus 3 in turnovers. You're almost never going to win football at any level when you're minus 3 in turnovers. And at 1-2, it's now an uphill fight for the Saints. And here's the thing, the Carolina Panthers are not a real good team. First quarter, you don't see this often. Alvin Kamara stripped. Marquise Haynes scoops and scores. The Saints had that fumble, plus Jameis Winston threw 2 interceptions, 3 turnovers. They got 0 takeaways, 7-0 Panthers. But it wasn't just the turnovers. The offense was a mess for most of this game. In the first half, they went 4 straight possessions without a first down. Meanwhile, the Panthers ran enough for 145 yards rushing. The Saints' rushing defense has been a strength. It wasn't really today. Panthers led 13-0 at halftime. And special teams weren't good either. Will Lutz missed twice, 0 for 2 in field goals. It's still 13-0 after 3 quarters, and then the Saints did get back in it early in the fourth. Mark Ingram with the touchdown run. It's 13-7. There is life, but then just 2 plays into Carolina's next possession, the big defensive breakdown. Laviska Shenault with the short catch. That's P.J. Williams missing. That's Tyrann Mathieu missing. Both whiffed. The NBA holds its draft lottery Tuesday night. And even though the Pelicans made the playoffs, they still have a shot at the number 1 pick in the NBA draft because the Anthony Davis trade is the gift that just keeps giving. Of course, the Pelicans in that trade got budding superstar Brandon Ingram, and they got Josh Hart. They then flipped Hart as part of the deal to get C.J. McCollum, and they got 4 first-round draft picks from the Lakers, including this summer's number 1 pick. Now, the Pelicans did actually trade the number 1 pick this summer to Memphis, but they traded it with top 10 protection. What that means is if the pick is in the top 10, New Orleans keeps it. If it's not, it belongs to the Grizzlies. Right now, that pick is the number 8 overall in the draft.